Man, Benoit Saint Denis versus Mauricio Ruffy might honestly be one of the most interesting fight on this entire card this Saturday. And the reason I say that is because the MMA community feels like they're kind of split here. Like, yeah, if you go online, more people are leaning towards Ruffy, which makes sense to be honest. The dude has all the momentum in the world, right? And he's riding that hype train with the fighting nerds. People are already talking about him like he's the future of the division, maybe even the champion down the line. I mean, the guy's on a 7-5 win streaks. He had a clean performance. And, bro, he flatlined Bobby Green in his last fight, which, let's be honest, happens to Bobby all the time, but it was still impressive. That wasn't just a win, that was a huge statement. That was a welcome to the big leagues moment. But here's the catch. This is his real first test when it comes to the grappling, I would say. Nobody has been able to touch him in that department. You pull up his takedown defense stat, it says 100% on his UFC stats. And yeah, that looks cool on paper, but who's tested it? Who's actually out here chaining wrestling him, pushing him against the cage, making him defend for multiple minutes? The answer is nobody. Now that's where Benoit comes in. You see, Saint Denis is the guy that's supposed to ask these questions. The dude averages over 4 takedowns a fight. He's always hunting subs, and he's not shy about turning it into a dogfight. The problem, though, is that he's very sloppy, man. Like, I don't mean just sloppy in a disrespectful way, but his entries can be real wild. His striking defense is pretty leaky, I would say, and he's the type of fighter to walk into big shots just to get where he wants. Now, against someone like Ruffy, who's clean, sharp, and can knock you out with one shot, I honestly believe that's playing with fire. And I'll be real with you guys, I'm not sold on BSD at this level. Sometimes he fights like he's too goofy, too awkward, and I can't fully trust him in a matchup like this. I don't think this fight is as close as people are hyping it up to be, because in my head, Ruffy is going to butcher him. I'm not going to lie. Whether that's a quick knockout or just a steady beatdown where he makes Saint Denis pay for every time he crashes in. I still see Ruffy walking away with his hands raised. Now, let me add this. I don't think Ruffy is some flawless fighter who's about to just run through the division and be the next Anderson Silva of the freaking welterweight division. I don't see him starching every dude left and right for the next 5 years, but in this specific fight against BSD, yeah, I think he's going to handle business. Whether it's fast, whether it's a competitive round, it doesn't matter. Ruffy is just too sharp, and the holes of Saint Denis' game are just too big not to get exposed in this fight. I'm sorry, guys. Because let's talk about Benoit Saint Denis stand up for a second. Because honestly, I don't rate it that high. Yeah, he's got a decent body kick. I'll give him that. But outside of that, it's just big meaty hooks, man. Like we're watching UFC back in the Stone Age in 2003. It feels outdated. And sure, that style can work sometimes. But I'm not giving him a ton of credit for his last win either. Because let's be real. The guy he fought was on short notice. It was the can. That's not the same as running into a polished striker who had a full camp to prep for you. Now, I'm not denying that BSD is a dog. He's tough, he's gritty, and he's got some grappling chops. We've seen him take down Dustin Poirier and even get to his back for a moment. That's not nothing. But here's my issue. The way he closes distance is just trash, dude. His entries are wide. His timing is off. And every time he tries to get in, he leaves himself wide open. And against somebody like Ruffy, who's sharp, fast, patient, that's just asking to get clipped clean, dude. And another thing, too, is that Benoit looks slow in key exchanges. Go back to some of those important moments in the pocket. He was literally playing Dustin's game, marching forward, swinging wild, and eating counters. I get that's BSD style, okay? Like the berserker, I'm gonna die out there approach. But to me, man, I'm gonna be real with you, that's dumb as hell. That's not a game plan. That's just being retarded. And sure, chaos works for some guys, right? We've seen Yuri Prohaska pull it off. I mean, we've seen Tony Ferguson at his peak, make madness work. But BSD, he's not Yuri and he's not Prime Tony. He's too hittable, too open, and honestly, he fights like he's allergic to defense. Now, could he, in theory, beat Ruffy with a disciplined game plan? Like a GSP type blueprint? Stick to the takedown, stay safe, grind it out? Yeah, in theory. But I haven't seen him adapt in that way. His last fight didn't prove it. Every time I watched him, it's the same thing. Overwhelming style, pressure, break the guy in front of him, And that works against average fighters. It even works against tough veterans sometimes. But the moment you put him in there with somebody technical, somebody with fight IQ, like a Morcano or a Dustin Poirier, we've seen what happens. He gets touched up. He gets exposed. Now, to me, this fight is almost more important for BSD than it is for Ruffy. Ruffy's the hype train, the shiny new toy. He's not going anywhere, win or lose. But Benoit, if he loses here, I don't know if people are going to keep talking about him as a serious threat in the top 15. He might just be labeled as the crazy brawler who's fun to watch, but not a real contender. This is a chance to prove that he's not just a wild man, to show that he's got layers, that he's got a real game plan, and he's not just a kamikaze fighter, And if you ask me, this fight just doesn't really line up well for BSD. Like, stylistically, I don't like it, man, because Ruffy, say what you want about him, whether you think he might gas later or whatever, he doesn't have good cardio. The dude is technical. That's the word, okay? Technical. His footwork, his shot selection, his counters, everything is clean. Even if people want to bring up the whole, oh, we don't even know about his cardio narrative. Bro, cardio doesn't mean much if you can't get inside without eating a bomb. Ruffy's not out here throwing sloppy 1-2s. He's sharp. He times guys walking in, and his counter shots are nasty. He'll let you think you're coming forward, and then bang! He meets you in with something right down the pipe. And that's where I just can't trust BSD in this fight, man. He comes in waving forward like a madman, no real feints, no footwork, just all over the place. And against someone who's faster, sharper, and just flat out more technical, that's asking somebody to get slept. And the speed difference is going to be clear as day too. Now, yeah, people are going to keep bringing up Ruffy hasn't been tested on the ground, and I get it. We haven't seen him stuff under a heavy grappler yet, but come on, man. This dude trains with the fighting nerds. That whole camp is full of problem solvers. You don't think they put him through the ringer with wrestlers and grapplers nonstop, knowing that that's the biggest question waiting on? I'm willing to bet his takedown defense is sharper than people give him credit for. And even if BSD manages to drag him down, I just don't see him holding Ruffy there. Ruffy is too explosive, too technical with his get-ups, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people even if he goes there. To me, this fight doesn't even last long. I think Ruffy's just going to shut all of that down. The pressure grappler talk pretty quick. BSD is just too reckless, too open, and honestly too predictable. It's that roadblock style fighting, man. Just spamming the same forward pressure button over and over again like you're stuck on autopilot. And that might work against a mid-level guy, but against someone as clean and as fast as Ruffy, that R2 button is about to get countered. Now look, I'm not saying that Ruffy's the future champion of the division. I don't see him running through the killers left and right forever. But I do think he's going to be the guy that's going to put a big stop sign on BSD's hype right now. And unless Benoit walks in there with the best game plan of his life, he's going to end up looking like just another victim of Ruffy. I'm talking about another highlight reel. This is where I think Ruffy is the most dangerous man. Benoit's going to come in with that bulldozer energy pushing forward like he always does. And that's exactly what Ruffy's timing and speed are at his sharpest. I can see him catching BSD early with clean counters, maybe even putting him on skates in the first couple of minutes. Benoit's pressure is scary, but walking into a sniper like Ruffy, that's playing with fire. If it ends early, round one is going to be the spot. Now, if Benoit survives the first wave, this is where it gets really interesting. By now, Ruffy's reading patterns, the way that BSD's coming in, the lack of head movement, the big loopy hooks. Ruffy's the type to get comfortable as soon as the fight keeps going on. And I think this is where he's really going to start dialing in those counters. I could see a finish here just as much as in the first, honestly. And either by a crispy knockout or a ref stoppage after BSD eats one or too many shots, trying to bulldozer his way in. And if Benoit can survive and drag it all the way to the third round, that's when we finally see how good Ruffy looks deep in the fight. Does he slow down? Does he stay sharp? I don't think he completely falls apart, but this is where the fight could get messy. Benoit's cardio is no joke, and if he's still standing and still shooting, he might make this round competitive. But the way I see it, even if Ruffy looks a little bit tired, he's still too fast, and he's still too technical for BSD just to get grinded on. At best, Benoit makes it scrappy here, okay? At worst, he gets clipped again and doesn't make it to the final horn. But for me, this fight screams an early finish. Ruffy either in the first or second round. But if it does sneak into the third, that's where it becomes less about whether Ruffy can finish him and more whether Benoit can survive long enough to make it ugly. Either way, I just don't see Benoit Saint Denis winning the clean exchanges. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.